You know, with NPCs, the first thing that gets them is the voice. So we're going to talk about voice right now. Stick around. Hi, folks. Old Man Grognard here, and this is the second part I want to talk about NPCs. Now, this one's going to be a little more freeform because just the nature of the beast. Your voice. Now, we'll talk about how you use your voice if you want to change your voice and the voice patterns you use. Now, not everybody has a clear voice like I do. I understand that. But you can do things to make sure your voice is clear. And I've got some of this from the voice acting videos and lessons I've gotten. So I'll pass them on to you. First thing you do as a GM, you should do this anyway because you talk a lot, is water. If you find yourself, and I have many a time during the podcast, many a time during the games, you find yourself with what I call swamp mouth. That's you've been eating stuff and, you got a lot of phlegm. I got permanent postnasal drip, so I got to deal with that, on my own. But one of the ways I do with it is water. You just go like this. That's all you need to do to clear your throat out. Because, you go to these, you play, like, say, a 4 or 5 hour game or at a convention where you're doing a lot of games. I've seen guys about, if it's a 4-day convention, Thursday through Sunday they're sounding like this. And the dragon came over the hill and he got ready. Hang on. That they do that. But they keep going because they've wore their voice out. You can pace yourself. You can use water. For God's sakes, lozenges, mints, something like that. Anything to keep your throat moist. And sometimes people can't. Some people have voices that just can't. They wear out easily. Mine does not, but I've had times when it has, especially when I'm like getting a cold. That's my advice. Don't GM when you have a cold. We called our game this week because one of the players had a cold and I didn't want to catch it because I run the game and, and I have another one online. Anyway, but aside from that, you learn to take care of your voice a little. And it's not a bad thing to have water anyway. So water's the best lubricant you got out there. Drink hot tea if your voice is starting to, it'll happen to the best of us. At convention, say the third day, your voice starts to sound like this. Hot tea, try and take care of it. Hot tea, cough, lozenges, whatever you have to do. Voices for NPCs. Okay. Now, like I've told you in the original video I did for doing the performance thing, there are a lot of DMs out there who will give a great performance, be a great GM with nothing more than their normal voice. If they want to do a different voice, they'll usually just go down like this or just go up like this or something like, and that's all they'll do. And it works because they know how to convey the NPC without having to use their voice. But me, I like to use my voice. I figured if you got it, use it. If you're too shy or something like that, that's okay. I mean, well, if you're too shy, why are you GMing in the first place? But, there are people who want to GM, but, they're afraid to get too into their character or characters. I mean, this goes for players too. Come out of your shell a little, just a little. Like I said, the guys who just do the like that, they run great games. There's no reason why you can't. You just got to do it and learn to be comfortable talking in front of people. As for your voice itself, if you want to do character voices, think about the range of your voice. Now, I am a baritone, as you could tell. I tend to be on the lower end. So a lot of my characters tend to be on the lower end. I mean, I can go all the way. I was I guess I was blessed. I was blessed with this instrument where I could do stuff like, I could go all the way in the dirt and talk like this, and it won't affect my voice. Some people try that. They're tore up inside afterwards. They can't keep going. But, and I mean, it's the same singing too. I mean, I could do a Frank Sinatra song and turn around and do Joe Cocker and have no problem. Or vice versa. But that's part of taking care of your voice too. Real aware of your range. And there's nothing wrong to stretch your range. I mean, I would never sing soprano. Ever. I could never do it. But I can push my voice into a higher register for effect. I can play a little pixie sprite that sounds like this. I mean, people can get higher than this in their voice, but I'm a baritone. This is and it still conveys the character. See? And I do a great Mickey Mouse too. Anyway, you can drag it down. And people who have this high voice like this, it's hard for them to go low like me. So you can don't be aware of the range of your voice, and if you can stretch it. If you can't, don't. Everybody can stretch their voice a little, and sometimes that's all it takes. If I'm playing an NPC fairy or sprite and I go on like this and keep talking like this, people get the idea it's a little tiny sprite. Okay. Impressions. Okay, dialects. Let's do dialects first. If you can do them, like I said, it's the same thing. If you can do them, do them. If you can't, don't. Not everybody. When you start sounding like Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins, then don't. But that's my personal opinion. I've seen some great DMs who they'll just do one line and say, okay, this guy talks like this. He'd do an Irish for one line. He says, okay, he talks like that. I'm not going to do it through the whole thing. Okay, fine. Hey, it works, But I will go the full route. If you can go the full route and you have a good ear, I've got a good ear for dialects. So if you can listen to things, listen how people talk, listen to the accent, listen to the cadence of their speech. Because, you can do a great accent, but everybody doesn't talk the same way you do. As far as the rhythm of their voice and things like that. Now, I'm getting a little nitpicky for GMing, but you get the idea. I, as an old theater teacher used to say, I exaggerate to make a point. Take of it what you will. Okay, impressions. Now, if you've got an NPC based on somebody out there from stage, screen, radio, whatever, have that. Go ahead. Just make sure you can do at least a passable imitation. Otherwise, you can just say, hey, he sounds like this. Okay, he sounds like that. Fine. And there are some stock characters that everybody understands. If you start talking about a bug-eyed little guy who's going around the corner and sneaking around, everybody's going to be thinking he's talking like this. You'll see, like Peter Lorre, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was. I have a few personal bugaboos about that. Anybody else tries to do Ed Wynn again in front of me, I will probably kill them, or at least hurt them very badly, because that is probably the most overdone impression I've ever seen. Because they always take it too much, like this. And that's only been done once or twice. And if you're going to do impressions, just try it, and if it doesn't work, just say he sounds like this guy. The reason I'm being so hard on that is because I have a personal dislike for people who do impressions and don't research them. And I'm not talking about you got to study every single thing this person did, but it's like watch enough of them to get go to the source. That's what I'm saying. If I'm going to do a Peter Lorre impression, I've got enough Peter Lorre movies in my DVD collection that I can watch him. A lot of people do impressions of impressions, and that's like taking your voice and putting it on a Xerox machine. You know, after a while, it loses it. Everybody kind of recognizes it, but it loses it. So, like I said, go back to, if you're going to do that, study and go back to the source. And that's about all I have for voice right now. If I think about anything else, I'll let you know. But we're going to have a third one about mannerisms and things like that, which kind of links into voice. And I'll probably talk about that there too. So if you like this, tell me about it, oldmangrognard@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.